Hello, good morning students. Welcome to e-learning. We are learning chapter 7 population of standard 12th economics. Here today's lecture will be on causes of high birth rate. We have already started this topic and part 1 is already completed in our lecture 7 where we have talked about social factors in lecture 7. Today we are going to start with economic factors in our lecture number 8. So let's quickly start with this economic factors where our first point talks about low level of education. Now what is low level of education? Means insufficient education. Why there is insufficient education system in India? Why it has been here? It is talking about the females who are having low level of education. See, this low level of education is not defining the whole entire male female or entire population, but here as we are learning about high population, high birth rate, so you find that this low level of education is in here is related with the female. So you find that many of times in from the earlier time only we find that this female were not given much freedom, much education for them, so they have been only taking care of their parents or everyone in the family at home only. So all this particular leads to be female became we can say insufficient educating system. So you find that they are not much educated, and again it becomes a problem for female to think for further future. So here what does this point talks about? When the female does not have much amount of education, or they are not done with primary or secondary education, what happens to the illiterate female one and the primary female one? So you find that more birth rates are given up. Here there is a complex relationship, it is there, but more and more childs are being born if the female are uneducated, and less we can say less number of childs are born when female are attain or achieved primary education, or we can say secondary education. So you find that the family size here it depends on the female who are being educated or not. So due to the level of education you find that female possess, the birth rates are being depend on. So birth rate here is totally dependent on the educations of, or we can say on the literacy rate of the female at present time. So where we find that present time the females are being educated, and there you find that women empowerment everything is going on. But when we talks about 1951 to 1990 or till 2000, you find that females were not given that much importance in education system. Though many a times many of the urban cities female are been going for learning purposes, but if you see our earlier from the ancient time till present, you find that it is not, the females were not given much of education. Adequate education was may require for the female, which is not given to them, which help them to identify what is difference of small what is the benefit of small family and what is the benefit of the larger family, or we can say what is the benefit for the large family. So you find that as a result this family sizes are increasing because of lack of education under the female. So you find that here number of children increases. It is a survey which has been done where the total population, or we can say high birth rate, is causes because of low level of education. If a female is not educated, she try to give more number of births rather than the educated one. So a survey which has been done with the primary educated female and an illiterate female, where primary educated female try to go with less number of child rather than the illiterate female. Why it's so? What is the thing? Because this illiterate female does not know that in future will be a problem of this high birth rate. They just think that there should be more number of children which gives us a more benefit, or they will help us in old age time. That is preference of male child is also a problem. If only girl childs are born, they try to go with more procreation to get a male child and who can take care of them in old age, who can take care of their new generation, everything. So all the social factors also is been needed here, and these social factors directly affect the illiterate women, and they try to go with more of procreation. So you find that this creates high birth rate in India. Again, we find that this it has been found with a comparison here. Illiterate women try to give more child rather than the literate women, or we can say literate women try to give less number of child than the illiterate women. Again, it has an inverse relationship. What has the inverse relationship? That is, education and the number of child which are being born in a family has an inverse relation. If female is educated, the number of children will be less. If female is uneducated, the number of children which is born in a family is more. So this is what you find, that the low level of education creates more high birth rate in India rather than the literate, we can say, female. So this becomes a problem again in India to create more amount of high birth rate. Again, we find that it has been said that birth rates is high because of illiteracy and low education. So two common factors, that is illiteracy and low education, becomes a major factor to create more amount of population in India. Then the second point talks about low level of income. Again, why here low level of income? Here the category of people comes the people who are not getting their basic necessary things, that is the poverty people, the people which are coming below poverty, that is BPL. So all those people, what they try to think, if they does not have education, they does not have much income, they think if I can have more children in future, at least they can sum up together with small income and they can go with their living, as well as they can fulfill me with that particular thing. So this is what the thinking of people which are begging, which are very poor people. So you find that when their income level is low, you find that the family is also low, and they try to consider that if more will be there, जितने ज़्यादा बच्चे उतने हमारे पास अच्छा रहेगा. So this is the mentality, or this is the thinking of the poor family people, where because they are facing the problem of low income, low per capita income, low income in their family, or they are coming under below poverty. So they think that this children are assets for the family, and this asset should be more, that is more children should be born. And in English it is a phrase which has been called as more the merrier. More the merrier means जितने ज़्यादा उतने अच्छे, अच्छा रहेगा, जितने ज़्यादा अच्छे बच्चे होंगे तो हमारे पास उतना ज़्यादा इनकम होगा. So this is what the thinking of the poor people is been there. So it becomes again that more children are born because of this poor family people. If you see, the data says that the poor family and middle class family children are more rather than the high or within rich class family. So why this things that more children will help to have small income together, and it will help their all together brothers sisters will help to each other for living purposes. So this is the mentality of low level of income people, or the people living under poverty. So we find that this beggars, or this people who are not able to earn, they try to create more number of children, they send their children for begging. They send after a certain age of 10 to 12, they try to send them to work in a tea stall, some of the different canteen places. Again, they again break the rule of child labor and make them to work and earn them money and live on the children's money. So this is what is happening up, and it becomes a very negative impact on the country size or population. So this category of people who did, which we have learned in chapter 5, poverty, that is 22%, 21.9, that is approx 22% of people which are living in poverty as per 2011 index. You find that this 22% of poverty people are creating more procreation because their income is less, and they think that if more will be the children and more will be the income, and they will send their children to different eatery shops, different vendors, बहुत सारी लारी पे, यहाँ वहाँ पे, मंदिर के बाहर, सब जगह पे खड़ा कर देंगे और उसके पास भीख मंगवाए, कुछ काम कराएंगे, एक्स वाई से वो लोग पैसा कमाएंगे. सो दिस इज व्हाट द मेंटेलिटी ऑफ लो लेवल ऑफ इनकम पीपल आर एंड the poverty people are. So this is why we find that there is a more high birth rate in India, which is coming from where? Which is coming from the poverty people, which people are below poverty, that is 22% of the total population as per 2011 index. So I hope you got this particular point very clear. With this you can write more points in this apart from this 4 points. Okay, then comes the third point, that is high infant mortality rate. Infant means baby, mortality rate means their death rate. So we find that the babies which are born in India, their babies babies which are attaining at the age from 0 to 1, they are getting died. So what is the mortality rate for this baby? So out of every 1000 child born in a given year, the number of death which has been happening before the child attains the age of 1, it is known as infant mortality rate. And here the data shows you here from 1951, for out of every 1000 people, you find that 146 people 146 babies are being died. For 1000 babies, you find that 146 babies are being died in 1951 due to different xyz reason. We can say due to less of medical facility. Because of this, more children are born with the poor people, where they are not able to provide a basic primary vaccine to their children's. So all this leads, or due to the hunger the children's babies dies. So all this particular leads to high, we can say, high birth rate. Again you find high infant mortality rate. Again in 2011 it reduced to 41.40. So you find that from 146 in 2011 it is becoming 41. It has reduced, we have seen for the 60 years it has been reduced from 146 to 41, but still we consider this out of every 1000, 40 babies are dying before getting age of 1. It is again a big ratio compared to the developed nations. So you see this becomes a quite high, and the reasons why it is been there, because of first is poverty. Major reason is the poverty people, the low class income people, which creates more children's or high birth rates in the society, and they are not able to fulfill the necessary basic necessary things to these children. Again you find that less care given to the girl child. As from the earlier side, we know that girl's child were not given much importance, not education nor importance in the family. They were being thrown into the dustbin if male child is not born. So all this particular becomes a problem in the society, and this is a low mentality which was been created that time. Then after lack of nutritious food, yes, due to poverty people, they are not able to get food, high quality or nutritive food. So because of that also, this infants, that is the babies which are being died. Then after frequent abortion of the women, because of preference of male child, if a girl child is born, they try to go with abortion, family try to force them for abortion. So it again becomes female will become weakened due to this frequent abortion for them. Again you find that old age practices of bringing a child. If a person, if a woman, or we can say they are bringing a child with their old age, that is near to 45, 50, 45 to 49, as the fertility rate of a woman is from 15 to 49. So when they marry late and they try to go with procreation that time at the old age practice, you find that again it becomes a problem, that premature baby might chances that premature babies are being born that time. Then after inadequate, or we can say insufficient medical facilities again create a problem. Why? Because this poor class people or the middle class people, they does not give more preference to girl child. Again they does not care if a girl child is we can say unhealthy or ill or sick, and medical facilities are not given to girl child even if they are born in the middle class family. As well as you find that poor people, they are not having any knowledge, they're having no money, so they try to tackle by themselves and not going to the hospitals. So this again become a problem. Then less gap between the two childrens. So you find that constant frequently procreation after a year from baby to baby becomes a problem or weaknesses to the woman. So there should be always a gap. Nowadays advertisements are also gap, that there should be a gap of at least 3 to 5 years for between two children's in for the couple. So it has been given, so this awareness will help them, this awareness will lead to be less high birth rate in India, as well as you find that it will be a good impact on the women also. The women will be strengthened, not weakened. So all these practices should be avoided. It should be, this factors becomes a problem to create more high birth rate in India, which have been reason. So today we have learned economic factors. Next class we are going to learn about the social factors and a quick revision for all the total factors which are causing high birth rates in India. I hope you understood well. If you still find any doubt in these three topics, you can just call or message me on my number. Thank you.